So you'll remember in my last video I was having a little bit of trouble getting my new drive to take. Remember I created a D drive, I mounted that drive to Windows, I formatted it, I created a backups folder in that drive, and it wasn't taking the folder path. The reason for that was I was missing this forward slash, so just make sure that you have this trailing forward slash after your folder name. It still won't let you save to the root of that drive, but you can fix that mistake and make sure that you have a correct drive in there. So now that I've mapped my folder, my backup folder, to my actual D drive, to this backups drive, um, I can set up backups now. Now, FileMaker Server by default is going to set up backups for you. These are auto backups. The auto backup is going to run every night at midnight, and it's going to run once a day, and it's going to keep 7 days worth of backups. So make sure that you have enough drive space for the auto backups to take place. If you want to preserve backup or do a one-off backup just for safety's sake, I always do a backup right after I host a file. So I'm going to click Backup Now, hit OK, and then you'll see that one is preserved automatically because it was a manual backup. Your auto backups will not be preserved automatically, but you can click a box and hit Preserve. Now what that looks like, or what that does in the folder I should say, is if you go into Backups, you'll see a preserved folder, and you'll see that backup in there. Now don't delete this backup if you want to clear out a preserved backup. What you need to do is go to Preserved here, check this box, and hit Delete. And this is going to delete your backup for you. If you want to customize the schedule and not use this auto backup schedule, you can come in here and still create your schedule. I'm going to do a backup. I'm going to call this FMS Custom Backup. And then this is very familiar from previous versions of FileMaker. You can do databases in a folder, all databases that you're hosting, or choose a database. You can select where it goes, the number of backups to keep. If I want to keep 3, I'll do that. You can verify and clone. You can repeat once, daily, weekly. Let's say I want to do this weekly, and I want to start it on, well, today's fine. At a specific time, let's say 22. Run it on days of the week. I only want it to run once a week, and set an end date. So there we go, weekly, and we're going to save. So there's our FMS custom backup, and that's running. If you want to disable that backup to run, it's just a very click disabled right there. Modify the settings as well. If you want to modify the settings, just hit edit. So you'll notice that if we go back to configuration and go to folders again, progressive backups is still in here as well. So if I want to do progressive backups, I can enable that. And I can set a space for a custom folder for those progressive backups as well. I'm actually going to turn that back off so that it's not running all the time for me. So that's really the backup strategy. This is what's called a primary backup. Now, a primary backup is your first line of defense. So a primary backup is this auto backup, the one that's not preserved. A secondary backup would be those preserved backups, ones that you keep. And then what you want to do in addition to this is have an offsite backup. An offsite backup is a backup that doesn't necessarily run on the server. It runs in another location so that in case this drive is ever corrupted or destroyed, or the data is lost off this drive, you have another backup offsite. Now there's a lot of stuff out there in the community you can go into and read, like offsite backup with Dropbox, or offsite backup with Glacier, which is another Amazon product. There's backup services out there. There's third-party utilities that do that offsite backup. We're not going to get into that here. I'm only showing you the primary backup that's going to live on this. Fortunately, cloud drives are fairly durable. That's a term you'll hear thrown around a lot for when using cloud computing, is that it's durable. It's always available. It never breaks. While it's not entirely true, I haven't lost any drive data in 5 years from using a cloud. Um, and now that I've said that, I probably will. But um, primary backups are here. It's still a very good idea to have offsite other backups as well. So that's backup strategies with FileMaker Server 17.